Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back. I hope you're having a fabulous afternoon. Let's continue on with fall 2023 candle reviews from Kringle Candle specifically. This time around we are in the country candle line and we are talking about the apple pumpkin pie fragrance. This one for me is a very nostalgic type of scent and it stirs up a lot of memories. And I kind of just want to talk about that, but I want to save that for the end of the video. So for those of you that aren't interested in that at all, you can just tune out after we get done with the review here. But yeah, this fragrance, as soon as I received it and opened it, it kind of took me back to like living at home with my parents. But let's go ahead and get into the fragrance description, the notes. I'll tell you what I detect in here. We'll talk strength and throw, and then we'll get into the other stuff. Okay, the wording of this description is a little bit odd, so bear with me. Apple pumpkin pie, crisp fall apple halves, not the whole apple, just halves of apple, and pear are blended with citrus. Pumpkin puree is wrapped with bold spices. Comforting undertones of vanilla baked notes and allspice completes this delectable aroma. Okay, top notes here are red apple, Anjou pear, and mandarin. The mid notes are cinnamon bark, nutmeg, and pumpkin puree. The base is vanilla, baked pie crust, and allspice. All right, so what do I smell here? Honestly, this is just one of those this is the epitome of fall type of fragrances. It really does kind of smell like you are baking both apple and pumpkin pies at the same time in your kitchen, and everything just gets enveloped in that beautiful baked pumpkin puree, the crust note, the warm gooey apple pie filling. The apple that you're smelling here is definitely a very baked apple note for sure. I have never put pears in my apple pie. I feel like the pear note in here is a little random. I really don't pick up pear at all. And I don't really get any type of citrus, mandarin or otherwise. To me, this is the classic spices of nutmeg, cinnamon, the allspice essentially, the pie crust, the baked apples, that baked pumpkin puree note. It just honestly smells kind of like you are baking Thanksgiving dinner and you put your pies into the oven and your house just fills with that beautiful, authentic, autumnal goodness. I love this scent, you guys. It's definitely maybe a little bit more I don't want to use the word old fashioned, but it's kind of like an older type of fall scent, I feel like. We have so many options in terms of fall candles these days, but it wasn't really always like that, I feel like. I mean, home fragrance has really exploded, I would say, in the last 10 years or so. More so even within the last 5 years, I feel like. And sometimes you just crave something that is very classic, and this one just so fits the bill for that. This one puts a smile on my face. It makes me think of happy times. It makes me think of Thanksgiving. It actually, oddly enough, also makes me think of Christmas, the holidays as well, because I have always had both apple pie and pumpkin pie at Christmas as well. I know typically those are maybe reserved a little bit more towards the Thanksgiving holiday, but my mom always had apple pie and pumpkin pie at Christmas as well. It might be that we were new to this country and she just didn't know that you don't normally do that at Christmas, but we loved it, man. I loved apple pie. When we first moved here and our first Thanksgiving, by the way, I moved to the US when I was 10. So I still very much remember coming here and learning about American traditions and customs. And as soon as I learned about Thanksgiving, it just became like one of my favorite holidays almost immediately. I loved the idea of family getting together. I loved the idea of amazing, and this was all like new to me at the time, like new foods. Before I moved here, I'd never had turkey. And oh man, when I had my first turkey dinner, I was in hog heaven. I was like, this stuff is delicious. I think because it was super hearty, and I grew up eating like super hearty German meals, you know? And I kind of felt like a lot of the like American dinners that we first had when we got here, they weren't quite as hearty and delicious as what I was used to eating every single day in Germany. And so Thanksgiving just represented like this amazing meal with like meat and vegetables and then like incredible desserts, and it just kind of reminded me of like being at home, and home in the sense of like Germany. So yeah, Thanksgiving, love that holiday, and this candle evokes that beautiful time of like celebrating with family and friends, and just enjoying good company and good food and laughter and happiness, and I love that. So big, huge fan of this one for sure. In terms of strength and throw, this one is a fairly solid medium performer. The strength of this has kind of waffled between like a 6 and a 7. I kind of feel like as I've been burning these, there's pockets maybe in some of them where they're a little bit stronger during certain burns than others. The throw is probably about a decent 6, certainly a room filler, certainly wafts outside of the room, but doesn't fill the entirety of the downstairs. But this is also the type of scent that I would burn alongside something else. This one here, for example, I think is a great pairing with either the warm Cinnabons or, let's see, what else? Oh my gosh, there's so many. Honestly, I feel like this one would go well with so many of the fall candles that are in the Gourmand family, that were around previously with either Country Candle or even the soy line as well. So yeah, I love this one. And honestly, and you can tune out now, we're done with like the review portion. This one to me is kind of, in a way, it almost makes me a little bit sad smelling this. So my parents divorced earlier this year. They split kind of around right before the holidays hit last year. So last year was the first year where we just had this really bizarre Thanksgiving and Christmas that just almost didn't feel real. And like, even though I had fragrances like this going around the house, like it was such a strange year for that. Smelling this now that we have kind of been through that first holiday season without having my stepdad around, I feel a lot better. I think that this holiday season is going to be much more enjoyable for all of us, certainly a lot less stressful. But now when I smell this, it just brings me back to like the happy times that we had when we were all still together as a family. My mom always had these like simmer pots going, in addition to like, you know, baking like the apple pie and, you know, the pumpkin pie and stuff. She also was really good about having these simmer pots on the stove where she would add water and cloves and cinnamon sticks and allspice, and she would put apple slices in there. Sometimes around like when we were carving pumpkins and stuff, she would even like kind of put the inside of like the pumpkin, like the meat part, not like the gooey guts, but like the inside, she would carve some of those pieces out and pop them into these simmer pots. And a lot of times they smelled very similar, you know, to like baking the pies, and without the crust note, obviously. But like this smell was the type of fragrance that my mom basically had going year round in our house when we were growing up. My mom was not as concerned with like seasonal home fragrance as I am. In fact, she thinks it's kind of funny that I only burn certain candles during certain times of the year, but yeah, like this now I think is a very nostalgic scent for me, almost in a different way. It just reminds me of when my family was still complete and things were good, and yeah, I'm gonna miss those times, but also I'm trying to embrace like the new family dynamic that we have. And yeah, you know, life just comes at you sometimes and you got to go with the flow. I'm totally getting teary right now. I didn't think I was going to, but like, you just kind of have to go with the flow, right? But I think it's nice to have fragrances like this to remind you of those good times. And even though they aren't like that anymore, you can still appreciate what was there in the past because they were good memories, right? Whew, girl. Totally getting teary here. I thought I was over this divorce. I don't think I am. Anyway, that's my little story for you guys. I still love this fragrance despite the fact that things are not the same for me, and I'm gonna enjoy it this year. Like, I'm going to embrace the newness that we have with my mom and my brother and I, and we're gonna have a great holiday season this year. And I certainly wish that for all of you as well. All right, you guys, thanks for being here for these reviews today. I'm not sure in what order these are going up, but this might be the last one. If it is, great. If not, then you might have one more coming. So please subscribe if you are new. If you would like to purchase these candles, by the way, there is a link in the description box with a discount code if you're interested. And subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.